I love this song. I love it every time. Every time it plays, man. Every time it plays, I love that song. Big Z, we are back. It's your boy Fredo, as joined as always by Zach. What's up, man? How you doing, man?
What's up, dude? It always throws me off when you call me Zach. I'm just so used to you calling me Big Z.
Every once in a while, I just like to let the people in. You know,
I know.
Like you're Big Z, but you're also Zach.
I have no problem with it. It just throws me off. You know,
Big Z.
Like when we were introduced by our buddy, like that's who I was to you. It was Big.
It's true.
Big Z.
You were Big Z. You were Big Z.
Yeah.
For a long time, you're Big Z.
But it makes me feel good that you call me.
But then we had sushi. Then we had sushi. We looked each other in the eyes. We had sushi together. All you could eat. It was delicious. It was everything we hoped.
We did have sushi, and I feel like I kind of set up some high expectations for us because I was like, we're gonna do 14 rolls each.
We did not.
So we did like 5 each, maybe 4.5. But we had like 20 sashimis or something.
We had 20 sashimis and like 4.5, but also like 2 of those were without rice. So really we had like 3 rolls each with rice, some sashimi, and then some protein rolls, which is, I mean, it just says that we're healthy,
Which
like
is
we're just
lot
healthy.
Of sushi. It was painful driving home. And it wasn't like a 10-minute drive. It was like a good 45-minute drive for me.
Fact. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the whole time, when I first got in the car, I was thinking, oh, it'll go away in 20 minutes. No, it didn't. It really didn't. And then the next hour after I got home, I was just like, I had to be present because Oliver was like, oh, Dad has home. Like, you need to read a book to me. You need to play baseball with me and run around. And I'm like, oh, this hurts so bad, but I have to do this.
Oh no.
And so, yeah, it was, I don't know, like it sounds so fun and good. And it was a great time, but sushi it lingers in there now. Like I don't digest it like I used to, man. I don't know.
Oh,
it's just a sign of getting old. It's just,
it's a sign of getting old. More than that, it's like we're healthy. You've been going to the gym. I've been working out regularly. I've been maintaining. I'm pretty calorie conscious. I still eat everything because I don't believe in all that diet stuff. I'm turning off. Yeah. I'm sure like some of our podcast listeners, but like I don't do the whole like keto thing. The way that I stay in remotely decent shape is that I try to make sure that my calorie intake is less than my calories burned. And so facto, I'm going to be okay.
I mean, that's the basics.
That's the basics.
Listen,
if you're listening to this podcast,
diet. That was the first diet.
If you're listening to this podcast, eat less calories than you burn and get a lot of protein, like way more than eat your body weight, as close to your body weight in protein every day as you can. Work out and you're going to be just fine. Like you're going to be great. Like that's it.
Listen to my boy.
Don't do all the other things.
He's a buff.
Don't do it. I wish I was buff. I will get buff.
Bro, the stuff we were talking about, the workouts you were telling me, I was like, oh, man, that's why you look the way you do.
Hey, we're getting there. You know what I mean? We're getting there.
That's right, baby. That's right.
It's all good.
That's right.
Yeah, dude. So another news, baby's still not here. So baby watch, keeping all our listeners updated. Baby's still not here, but we're getting there. Baby
is due in 6 days. So
dude,
countdown is on. But you never know. They never come on the due date. Rarely. Yeah. Rarely.
That's fair. Rare. It's rare.
I went apple picking yesterday.
What?
And, yeah, bro. It was fun. Oliver was loving it, dude. He's running around like he's picking up all the rotten apples. I was like, no, dude, look up. There's apples at your height right there hanging off the tree for you. And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, apple pick. It was fun. It was really
not even a low hanging fruit. He was going for the fruit that was on the floor.
Yeah, because that's all he thought you could get. But I was like, no, dude. Like, look up. Just
reach above it. Reach above it.
And he did. And it was great. It was a fun time. It was really cool. Then we did like some big family birthday on Friday night. So it was fun, man. It was a good weekend. How's baseball? How's coaching?
Baseball's good. Coaching's good. Just keep him busy. Not sure how we're going to keep up with it. But it's been fun, man. It's been fun. I'll tell you what else has been fun is some NFL. Some NFL
has been fun. Day. You know, we got an extra
early.
hour of sleep last night.
Yep.
I woke up at like what was really 6:30, you know, yesterday. What it would have been 6:30, but it was actually 5:30, and I was wide awake. And I said, well, no one's awake, so I'll turn on some NFL Network.
There you go.
Prep myself for the Dolphins Chiefs game that would start at 6:30 because it was in Germany. And that game did not disappoint. You know, it was a little lower scoring than I thought it would be, but it was still fun to watch for sure.
Yeah.
I like seeing Tyreek Hill lose.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. Do you know I slept in? And so like when we woke up, turns out we didn't miss a thing because the game started in the second half, right? So I woke up, Chiefs were up 21-0. I was like, all right, let's turn this on, see what's going on. And then all of a sudden the Dolphins were roaring back, and it was like, oh my gosh, is Tyreek Hill gonna look a little bit less dumb for comparing the Dolphins to the Chiefs? But then they still lost. You know, and at the end of the day, like I respect Tyreek believing in his team. I think the problem is when you are an AFC team, especially, and you're comparing yourself to the Chiefs, like the Chiefs are the standard. Like you don't get to be the champ until you dethrone the champ. And the Chiefs have dominated the AFC. If there's anybody who gets to throw shade, a couple years ago, the Bengals took it from them, but they're not saying nothing because they learned their lesson last year about calling it Burrowhead, right? Like they realized the pain, they lived through it, and now the Dolphins they lost on foreign soil, long flight home, long flight,
and they were there all week, man. Like
especially the way it ended.
Yeah,
you know, it's like all of a sudden Tua throws a hideous pass, just one of the most ugly passes. And at the end of the game, I will say I respect that he did not blame the receiver. He said we need to be on a better connection. We need to be on the same page because that pass was clearly either the receiver ran the wrong route, or he threw the ball in the wrong place. And I think what it is, you know, we know those hot routes, right? Where the receiver can either stay or go, turn or go. The receiver clearly read it. I'm going. Tua did not.
Yeah, not on the same page.
Who was wrong? We don't know. Tua did not blame his receiver, but they got spanked. I know it appeared closer than that, but I mean, it was too little too late. At the end of the day, it was too little too late. Travis Kelce, I don't think Swift was there because he did not play well. I traded for him in fantasy football, and he's letting me down.
He's
letting me down in a big way.
For 14 yards. Like,
is he done? Is Travis Kelce washed? That's my question.
No, bro. Noah Gray looks pretty good.
He looks fantastic.
Looks like his little brother. He looks pretty good.
Looks great. And Kelce, look, and anybody listens to this podcast, like you guys are a bunch of haters. Kelce, double teams used to not be a problem.
Right.
And I'm not saying he is washed. I asked the question, is he washed? So don't hear me saying
messing. He's good, but he's not what he used to. Like, he's gonna have a couple more good games this year. Like, that's a given. But he's not the Travis Kelce of old where we're gonna get 8 to 10 receptions and 100 yards and 1 touchdown every single game. It's just not him. And to be honest, to be fair, the Chiefs just don't look the same. Even though they won tonight, without Eric Bieniemy calling the plays, they don't look as cohesive together as a unit as they did last year. And I really think that they're missing. It's weird to say this, but they're missing Juju Smith. Like, Juju Smith was at least he's not a superstar receiver, but he was good enough to where defenses had to at least give him attention. They don't have a guy like that. Tony's never healthy. Sky Moore's just not living up to the expectations. And now all the defenses are focusing on Mahomes. They have a spy on him and Kelce. And so I don't even know if they're going to win the AFC. I now looking at what the Bengals have been doing since Burrow's gotten healthy, they look pretty good, man. So
not just the Bengals. I mean, the Ravens.
The Ravens too. Yeah.
Mitchell looked great today. Running back coming out of sort of nowhere. Yeah. They've been talking about his speed. They've been talking about who he is.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, when you look at that tandem, between him and Hill, between the 10s, and then obviously whenever they get inside the 10, it's Gus Edwards who seems unstoppable once you're inside the 10. So why would you replace him inside he looks fantastic. Anytime you get a 10-yard line, he's getting in. It's like what the Lions have with Montgomery. Once you're inside the 10-yard line, give it to him. He's going to score touchdowns.
Yep.
It's a nice combination. So all of a sudden, I mean, when you're looking at this Chiefs team, this Miami team, Ooh, boy, if the Chiefs can't get it right, if they can't figure out how to get Kelsey more involved, they are going to have such a tough time, such a tough stretch, especially when we're seeing videos of Aaron Rodgers throwing the football around pregame, right? Like the Jets are still in it. They're in the hunt.
They are.
Right? They play tomorrow against the Chargers, very favorable matchup. I think personally, Garrett Wilson is ready to have a big day, and I'm going to hate it because obviously when he has the big day, you're going to beat me, and that's right. It is what it is. So. It is what it is. So. But I mean, everybody's beating up the Chargers defense. They don't have a defense. The Chargers are without a defense.
It's non-existent.
They have an offense.
It's like USC.
And then they have an offense, and then they have 11 players that march on the field. Right?
Right.
And it's like,
right.
This is what we're going to do.
Yep.
We're going to try to stop the ball.
Yep.
But do they have a defense? I don't know that they do.
I don't. It's a good question, bro. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. If they get lit up by Zach Wilson and the Jets, like, no, like you can't call that a defense. And Zach Wilson, I mean, to be fair, he has looked better this year overall. And I'm not saying he's a great quarterback or anything by any stretch, but he's not turning the ball over as much. And that's key to win because that's how good their defense is. They keep them in games, and he just has to make one or two plays to win the game and not turn the ball over. So that's key. And so if Aaron Rodgers is able to come back, and if Zach Wilson keeps playing to what the standard he has been playing at thus far, I think that they can make a run for the playoffs. You know, they keep winning these close games, and tomorrow night would be a big victory, step in the right direction for them. And that's cool that the team has really rallied around him. They didn't give up on him. You forget they almost beat the Chiefs. You know, it was a Zach Wilson a bad pick or a fumble from him because he had a great game that night, and they should be 5-2 instead of 4-3 right now. So
right,
they beat the Bills in the week 1. So yeah, man, it's gonna be really interesting tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be another fantasy matchup coming down to Monday night. That's 2 weeks in a row for me in both of my leagues. So that's always exciting as well. Talking about some other scores today, man. The Vikings, dude, Josh Dobbs. This guy traded on Tuesday. Still learning some of his teammates' names.
He's the definition of clutch up.
Yes.
Like the dude led his team in rushing yards because Madison was trash. Madison did not look good.
Nope.
Cam Akers looked better and then got injured. He's probably done for the season.
Yeah.
Dobbs, literally, I mean, he started rough too. He got a safety, like an ugly safety. And it was like, oh my God, the Vikings are done. And yet he balls out. 101 passer rating, leads the team in rushing, accounts for 3 touchdowns, 2 through the air, 1 rushing. I mean, the dude clutched up. He is the definition of clutch up. I love it. I love it. And
comes in mid-game because if the starter got hurt.
If Aaron Rodgers comes back this year, like you got to remember, right? We're only what, in week 8?
Week 9.
Right? Week 9?
Yep.
So is there a world? I mean, if Aaron Rodgers can do it, Kirk Cousins, I mean, he's a man of prayer. Can he come back before Aaron Rodgers?
No. Don't put that stuff out there, dude.
Don't doubt my boy Kirk Cousins, dude.
No,
he's gonna do it. He's gonna lift weights. He's gonna throw on some extra gold chains.
He's not your boy, bro.
He's gonna throw on some extra chains from his teammates.
You know how much
do some squats.
You talked about him in the past,
dude. Look. All I want is for him to come back so they can lose in the playoffs and I can still make fun of Vikings fans. That's all I want. Because every year it's the same with the Vikings. They're going to win the Super Bowl, and then they don't.
Josh Dobbs is freaking like, I would want that guy on my team. You know, just like his heart and his passion.
Yep.
And the grit he has. Props to that guy. Like coming in mid-game, midweek, mid-game, and doing what he did.
Not just that, but like everybody thought that the Cardinals were going to be utter trash.
I mean, they
were literally going to be dog water. And they still are. But we thought they were going to be trash to the point of everybody was just going to play the Cardinals and run through them.
Right.
Like people were talking about, could this be the first 0-17 team ever?
Yeah.
Right. With the expansion of the NFL, the games, it was like, could this be the first no-loss 0-17 team? That's how bad. And then Dobbs like, no, we're not doing that. And even though they still haven't had a great record, he still put up great games, right? We saw him almost beat the teams like the Giants, who look awful, I won't lie. They beat the Cowboys, right?
Cowboys. Yep,
so
he was
again, like this guy, he plays on a team that's supposed to be absolute dog water, gets traded away out of nowhere for this rookie who looks awful, just absolutely awful. I don't know if you saw the Cardinals game today. It looked terrible.
It was terrible. It was 27-0 or something.
Terrible. Looked awful. They trade him away for this kid, right? Because they're obviously getting ready for next year. If you're a Cardinals fan, we told you before the start.
Yeah.
There's nothing this year for you.
Nope.
But for him to take that and then move on and immediately start the next game for the Vikings and get a W against a good team. The Falcons, look, yes, they were 500, but they are still competing for first place. They are playing meaningful games inside of their division.
Yeah, and they're not going to win that division. They're not going to win that division. Because Arthur Smith is not using their best weapon. Arthur Smith is relying on Jonnu Smith to be their best offensive weapon. Taylor Heineke is not throwing the ball to Bijan. Bijan Robinson is not getting the bulk of the carries, even though he's averaging almost 5 yards a carry. It's so dumb to me, the fact that he is not utilizing someone who is capable of carrying that team on his back, on his shoulders. It's so frustrating. Yeah. It's terrible. It's terrible because every time he touches the ball, he's electric. It's kind of like the Jahmyr Gibbs thing at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
But the problem with this is that there is no David Montgomery in front of him. You know, like Bijan Robinson is the number one back. That's why they brought him in, to be the workhorse of that team. I can understand Dan Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs with Montgomery in front of him. I can understand that. But there's no one, like, you're giving more carries to Tyler Algier.
Again, even then, and I think that both players would benefit from the same scenario. And obviously, I want to be clear, I never wish injury upon a player. But in the same way that I think the Lions will be better for Montgomery being injured and Reynolds being injured and them being forced to give the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs, because now the rest of the way we know they're going to be better because they watched Jahmyr Gibbs put the team on his back and ball. And we knew that he was capable, and he is capable, right? So now Montgomery has that nice piece that we know what Jahmyr Gibbs can do. We know he can be that guy.
Right.
I think in the same way, it's like the only way the Falcons are going to get out of their way is if something happens to Algier in the way of a trade or whatever. Right. Because again, it's ridiculous. Robinson looks amazing.
I know.
It's not like he's done anything wrong. I mean, today fumbled, right? Like that. And that was it.
Everyone fumbled.
But again, he's a rookie. Right. He's a rookie. You can't just pull him for the rest of the game when he fumbles like that. And all of a sudden, Algier was taking every carry. It's like, dude, you got to show this kid, do you believe in him?
Right.
Right. He's your rookie. And he's not just a rookie. He was your high pick, right? Yep. First round.
Yep. I mean, you're giving Algier goal line carries. And his reception stat line is 2 catches for -9 yards. That's Algier's stat line. Like, come on. This guy should not be getting more carries than Bijan. You should not be getting the same amount of pass attempts to him as Bijan. If you want to win games, and this is the chance to win games, that division has to be the worst division in the NFL.
Which we knew coming in.
And here it is. This is your chance to win the division, go to the playoffs with this team, this young team, and you're going to blow it if you don't turn around fast enough.
Right. Yeah, it may not even matter. It may be too late because the Saints have something sick going between Derek Carr and Taysom Hill. It's like,
my God,
like that system looks stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know what's going to happen. It didn't work today, but like Derek Carr tried to do QB sneak. And like, it didn't work. But at the same time, I was like, how insane is this? Like, if you were going to do a QB stick, you think it'd be Taysom Hill, and it's not. It's crazy. Like, they're willing to do whatever it takes. Like, they won, and Kamara had his worst game since he's been back.
Right.
And they still won.
Right.
Right. It's silly. It's absolutely silly. And I think it might be too little too late, honestly, for the Falcons. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'll tell you who it is.
They're only one game. It's only one game difference, but yeah, we'll see.
I'll tell you who it is too late for.
Who?
My team, the Rams. Just sell them all.
They're so bad.
Sell them all.
They're so bad.
We can still get, okay, you're telling me, the worst part is the trade deadline is gone.
It's done.
It's gone. So like the value we could have had for Cooper Kupp is like, no, we lost it, right? Because Cooper has had 2 bad weeks in a row, his worst in years, back to back. These are his worst performances in years. And I'm here to tell you, he has not lost a step. When they actually threw him the ball, he looked amazing.
Right.
And then we didn't throw him the ball. We threw it to Nakua, which, look, Nakua is great. I'm not going to sit here. Nakua is great, okay? But he's not Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp will score you touchdowns. Cooper Kupp will break away. He's always open. Just throw him the ball. And for whatever reason they're not, and now it's too late to sell. The Rams are in trouble, 100%. I'm a Rams fan, and we're in trouble. The Niners are back in first place with the Seahawks lost today. I don't think the Niners are going to look back. I still think they take this division. Seahawks right behind them.
Yeah.
The Rams are catching neither of these teams.
What do you do?
So they're in some real trouble.
What do you do if you're Les Snead, the GM of the Rams? Do you, because Stafford's not going on the IR, do you bench him the rest of the year?
No, I don't think you can, because you didn't make any trades. You didn't go out and make trades. So,
but at this point, you're only 2 games out of being the worst record in the league.
100%.
So I don't know, bro. There's a lot of good QBs out there. Like, you trade Stafford in the offseason, like, just write off that contract.
The issue for me is I've never been big on the guys that are coming out. Like, when we look at the top QBs that come out, we've openly said it, right? And the next guy, we might as well talk about it right now. Right? The guy that nobody else thought, everybody else said young. You and I sat here and we said CJ Stroud is the truth. The dude just broke the record for most touchdowns in a single game through 5 touchdowns. You and I sat here and we told the world, look, this guy's way better than Young. It's not close.
Right.
It's not even close. So why are you comparing these two? And now the Panthers are sitting there watching the Houston, who clearly has their franchise quarterback, give this kid all the money, give him all the contracts. Let him be your guy. Let him be your star, because I got news for you. He's the type of talent that we didn't even talk about Nico Collins last 2 years. We did not.
Nope. Nico Collins, Tank Dell. Like,
Damian Pierce was supposed to be the running back franchise player. And now it's like, if he does well, great. If not, who cares? Because we're still going to win.
Damian who? Like, we have CJ Stroud. Like, we have our QB. We have the guy who's going to stand in the pocket and just chuck the ball down the field. He doesn't care. Like, if it gets picked off, he has the confidence to go back on the field the next drive, and he's going to lead us down the field and win the game. He threw 470 yards today, 5 touchdowns, compared to Bryce Young, who had 173 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 picks.
Right.
Like, and I would argue that the Panthers probably have a better O-line. Like, they have a better overall team. They just don't have the receivers. But like, CJ Stroud is figuring out with a decimated offensive line that on paper is a lot worse than the Panthers. And that's huge for a rookie. If a rookie quarterback doesn't have an offensive line, you get what Bryce Young, you get those results. But CJ Stroud is figuring out how to do it without an offensive line. That's how good this kid is. And D'Amico Ryans doing a great job over there in Houston. I'm super excited about their future. I think that they're going to be a great team. I hope they're able to keep that young core together, and they just need to shore up some things on defense. But they're a good football team, and I'm really glad they went in the direction that they did.
Yeah, 100%. And when we talk about that in the same breath, when we're looking at guys like Penix and Nix, who are doing it at the highest level for Washington and Oregon. Now, I'm not trying to take a shot at Caleb Williams. I'm really not. When I look at these college quarterbacks who are so highly touted, and I don't necessarily think that you should tank an entire season for a quarterback coming out. Like, look, Stroud, he did it. He has shown us why, if you are going to go get a high pick, the Rams are going to have a great pick no matter what. But if that was your game plan, to tank and to lose, you should have sold Cooper Kupp should have been gone. Aaron Donald, ask him, hey, Do you want to go to one of these teams like the Bills who needs you, like the Bengals who could use you, like the Chiefs who could use you? Do you want to go win a Super Bowl? Because we will get in trade talks with these teams. We will get you there so you can win another Super Bowl because we are not there. Because the Rams are not there, right? No. That's obvious now. That's obvious. So Stafford, do you want to go play for this team? You only have 1 year left anyway on your contract. Do you want to go and try to get a ring with a team like the Vikings who just lost their quarterback? You know, whoever it is, do you want us to make something happen with the Jets, who we don't know if this guy's coming back? Do you want us to go make something happen with whoever it is? Insert that name here, right? Because there's a lot of teams with the worse quarterback than Matt Stafford. So to me, it just makes it tough. Like, what do you do? I think you have to bring Matt Stafford back. I know there are 2 games outside of having the worst record, but I also know that the Seahawks just lost. They just got blown out by the Ravens. So all you can do is just keep playing ball and hope that maybe you squeak in, maybe some tees fall off, but at least put together some sort of decent season. Because I don't know if there's a ton of upside. And by the way, like, we still mortgaged our future. Like, the Rams still are not going to have good picks this year. So the idea that you can tank and get some great, the Rams, it's going to be a tough future, but as a Rams fan, like, I'm still happy with the Super Bowl. So don't hear me saying that. Like, we did it, right? 2 years ago, we mortgaged our future. We won. Great. That I'm happy. Like, I'm happy. I just thought you had a chance to go out. I thought the writing was on the wall earlier. This team was not going to be the team, right? And so now all of a sudden it's like, well, what are we going to do? It's like, you should have already done it. Yeah. Right. You should have already done it. Speaking of college football, you know, Caleb Williams loses again. He had a great game. You and I were talking before the podcast. He did have a great game. Yeah, but he did. Washington came into the Coliseum and took that W. And yet, according to the latest poll, Washington did not jump Florida State. And to me, utterly ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous college football. If Caleb Williams, you genuinely think is the number 1 overall pick, and Washington just came in to the Coliseum, not at home, came into the Coliseum and got that W. Yep. This team needs to be top 4.
Yeah. Period. I mean, especially talking about the team in front of them, Florida State, beating a Pittsburgh team who is 2-7. Like, that is, if Pittsburgh and USC faced off, USC would have their way with them. Like, Pittsburgh is not, the ACC is not nearly as good as the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is such a better conference. And Washington, again, I've said this before and I get a lot of flack from it, but there is an obvious East Coast bias from these committees, from the media when they talk about teams in whatever sport it is. And now it's rearing its head again in college football. Yeah. But you have Ohio State, you have Michigan, you have Georgia, and then you have Florida State. Those are all East Coast teams. When you have 2 great teams over here on the West Coast, you have Oregon and you have Washington. And I should say Washington first and Oregon. Those teams are so good. They would wipe the floor with Florida State. Both of those teams, in my opinion. Right. They just have such a good overall team. The running back from Washington last night had 4 touchdowns, 256 rushing yards. And not only that, but their quarterback is freaking beastly as well. So they're just getting no respect to go into a Coliseum with 75,000 fans roaring at them, and to beat USC, to score 52 points on them is insane. And they get nothing. So,
and look at how easy the other conferences go down. Notre Dame goes down.
Right.
Clemson's not as good as they have been in years past. Nope. Hard place to play. I acknowledge that. Notre Dame goes down. Right. Like, it's easy. Oklahoma, down goes Oklahoma. Right. Another team that, look, the Pac-12 is harder than those 2 conferences. And these 2 teams just went down. Yep. Like, give Washington their respect. Yep. They are good. They are great. And their next, I mean, if somehow they run the rest of the table and they beat an Oregon in the Pac-12 championship, they have to be in the playoffs. They have to be in the playoffs, period.
Right. They have to be. Like, you can't not. But like Florida State, like, we went over their schedule last week.
We did.
Their schedule is not, the strength of schedule is nothing compared to what Washington has left. Washington has like 2 or 3 more ranked opponents in their way. Right. And it started this last week with USC. And so it's just pure utter disrespect. I don't know what else to say about it.
I mean,
they deserve more.
When you go into somebody's home and you cost the Grinch to Grinch on Christmas, right? Like he's gone.
He's gone.
Like they got the defensive coordinator fired. Granted, he had a couple bad weeks.
That's Lincoln Riley's boy, and he fired him. That's his his brother.
Fired him.
You know,
fired him,
and they fired him because that's how good Washington is on offense.
Made him look that bad.
Yeah, that says something, and good for Lincoln Riley because that was kind of the rub on him this whole season, even last year. That he has his staff, that he's not going to let his guys go. But the defense was the thing that's been losing the game. It's not Caleb Williams, really. It's for the most part, it's the defense. And so that's just been the whole thing all year, the talk. And finally, he did the tough choice. He made the hard choice, and he let his guy go. And maybe it's going to be for the better, not this year, but maybe for next season, right?
Look at the top 25 matchups, okay? Right. I'm just real quick, rapid fire, okay? 35 points, 33 points, 38 points, 31 points, 59 points, 55 points, 23 points, 30 points, 24 points, 27 points, 51 points, 34 points, 13 points, 63 points, 28 points, 41 points, 42 points, 42 points, 26 points, 27 points. The only team that I just referenced in that entire list that lost was 42 points in USC. And that is not a bad amount of points, as you can see from the rest of that list, right? It was rapid fire, it was quick. They put up 42 points and they lost.
Right. Exactly.
That's how good Washington is. That's how bad Grinch is.
Right.
But more importantly, that is another reason why Washington needs to be top 4. College football, the playoffs, especially playoff selection, playoff rankings has not come out yet.
We will
Hopefully they get it right.
They could say that Washington is number 4 in the playoff rankings.
Get it right.
They could, for sure.
They need to.
I hope so. They
need to. They need to.
I don't know. What do we got? Washington has Utah next week, Oregon State,
ranked opponent. Ranked opponent.
Yep.
2 ranked opponent. Oregon State just took out Colorado. Made them look awful.
Right.
Made them look terrible.
Yeah, we know.
We knew.
Oh, I know.
We knew. Some people didn't know.
We always know, bro. We always know.
We always know.
For most of the
Before we move on football, Big Z, how's your fantasy week going? You doing well?
Well, like I said, I got 2 teams going into next week or tomorrow night to determine win or loss for Big Z over here. Playing you, of course, so it always hurts. If I do win or lose, it hurts even more. But I'm down by 10 against you, and I have Garrett Wilson going tomorrow. You have 0 people going tomorrow, so we'll see. Zach Wilson has to throw to my guy. I am lucky that he's playing the Chargers. Like we said, they don't have a defense, and that Garrett Wilson is literally their only receiver.
And I'll tell you why I'm not that upset, because a lot of people would be hearing me say, like, "Don't you hate losing? Don't you hate losing to Zach? Don't you hate?" Listen, at this point in the season, in probably 3, maybe 4 weeks, I'll probably be a lot more upset about losing close games. Right now, I just want to see my team breaking 120. If every week my team breaks half point PPR, if every week my team is breaking 120,
right,
I'm happy. This week included, 2 weeks ago I lost scoring 143.
Right.
Last week I lost scoring 148. So this week, if I lose scoring 127, it sucks. But again, I'm doing everything that I need to do. The pieces I picked are there. One thing maybe is not going my way, but the points scored, I'm doing just fine. I do think Garrett Wilson has a great shot to end it. I did already get a win in my friends league. That was fantastic. Mm-hmm. I did not break 120. I only scored 110, but my opponent did awful. Only scored 91.
Well,
that's Mitchie Muffin's. Bro. That's Mitchie Muffin's spouse.
Oh.
So Mitchie Muffin's not helping her out, dude.
Mitchie Muffins
not helping her out.
Mitchie Muffins hates the Steelers, bro.
He hates the Steelers.
They won again, and he's so mad. He got mad again. I'm like, why are you mad, bro?
And Ash is competitive. I was half expecting. I think she's more competitive than he is. I was expecting a text like, you got so lucky. And I was
like, that's how mad she is. That she couldn't even text you.
She couldn't even text me, dude.
And that's okay. That's okay. It just shows respect.
That or she's busy with her new baby. One of the two. They have the cutest. They have the cutest little girl, dude. They have the cutest little girls. They're gorgeous. I just got to go to their 1-year-old birthday party a couple weeks ago. Fantastic. Beyond bro. Cute. Made me excited to have my own baby girl because their little girls are so cute. Dude. Dude, soft spot in their heart for little girls, dude. Ray too. Oh, Ray is amazing.
If Haley and I are blessed to have another baby, I can hope it's a girl. Nothing against Oliver, of course. I love Oliver so much because he's a cute chunk.
He's a cute chunkers, dude.
And I love that little boy
chunky
so
chunk.
Much. He is so chunky. Chunk. He's the best.
Chunky chunk.
But you know, my other league too. Got to even it out. Let's go.
Got to even it out. In my league, I need Keenan Allen score 40, so I need the Jets to have a terrible defensive night. A little more desperate of a case on that team. So
we'll see. We'll
see how it goes. But I made a big trade in that league. So in my defense, I made a big trade. Probably cost me the week because I had Deontay Johnson starting in that league. He scored 18 points. That would have been nice to have. But
yeah,
I made a trade. I gave up Deontay Johnson. This is a 12-man. So it's a little bit more trade heavy. Like if you're a 12-man, you got to be trading, right? Because there's, especially in 12-man, there's not that much, there's not that much out there on the waivers. So I traded Deontay Johnson, Cook for the Bills. Sorry, for the Bills. So I gave Deontay Johnson, Cook and one other piece for DJ Moore and DJ and Aaron Jones.
Nice, bro.
Kareem Hunt. So I felt like Kareem Hunt, as great as he's been doing, it was sort of the sell high for me because I know Ford is their guy.
Yeah, Ford.
So
Ford, yeah, Ford's healthy again, so I think he outscored him today too. So
yeah, well, Kareem Hunt got a touchdown, which is that's the hope.
Right.
Well, if you're playing Kareem Hunt, that is your hope. But when I looked like going forward, like Aaron Jones looked fantastic today, and I think DJ Moore once Justin Fields gets back is going to look fantastic. Yeah, as great as the back quarterback for Chicago's been. He's had a Pageant, whatever his name is. Yeah, he's had a couple great games, but he's not Justin Fields. He's not Justin Fields. So when Justin Fields gets back, I think that trade works out. If it cost me a week, so be it. It is what it is. Moving right along. Look at Wemby is a freak. Okay, we can all agree he's a freak, dude. He can dribble, he can dunk, he can shoot
threes. He can block shots.
The Spurs are 500, and you told me, you educated me before this podcast. They were trash last year. It was pretty good.
Well, that's the reason why they got Wembanyama is because they were so trash. See, in the NBA, it's different. If you tank, you're most likely going to get a great player.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the Spurs got an amazing player in Victor Wembanyama. He's so freaking fun to watch. I don't know if you've gotten the chance to watch him, but he's just it's crazy because he's like 7'4", and you would think he would look kind of like clunky, going down the court, but the dude is so smooth. His shot is so good. He plays great defense. And he can do literally anything on the court. And what was super impressive to me is they played the Suns 2 nights in a row in Phoenix, both in Phoenix. So both away games, and they beat them. They beat the Phoenix
Suns. Games?
Yes. Kevin Durant.
Wait, pause. Did Kevin Durant play?
Kevin Durant played. Now the Suns were missing Booker in one of the games.
No, but Kevin Durant's the best player on the planet.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so it does matter. And the Suns have on paper, a lot better of a team.
Yeah, no, it doesn't even matter who else they have. Because Kevin Durant is worth your entire roster and your draft.
Totally, yeah. Yeah.
And if Kevin Durant doesn't like the food in your cafeteria, he has a right and an obligation to ask for a trade.
Yeah, bro. And he may do it.
So if he played, they should win. Because I'm told he's the purest scorer of our generation, despite the fact that I watched the likes of Kobe Bryant, which doesn't make sense to me at all. Because Kobe, to me, hands down, is a better NBA player in every way, shape, and form than Durant. But I'm told, okay, by the experts, by the analysis, that Durant is unstoppable. So how exactly did they get stopped? Is Wemby that good?
It's Victor Wembanyama, bro.
I guess it must be
killing it, bro.
Because I'll tell you what the media can't do. They can't tell me that Kevin Durant is unbeatable.
That's right.
And then not crown Wemby as now the greatest player ever.
Well,
one of those two things, and we're not doing that.
There's always an excuse for Kevin Durant. Like, you know, even when he had a burner account, like, well, you know, he had to, because if he did it from his own account, blah, blah, blah. Or whenever he loses, it's because, you know, someone else like Russell Westbrook didn't show up. And
that's right.
It's always someone else's fault when Kevin Durant loses. And so, yeah, it's kind of annoying. I'm happy that Wemby beat, and the Lakers beat Kevin Durant too, which was awesome.
This will not be the last time I say this on this podcast. I'm going to say this a lot of times.
Say it.
I'm not the biggest NBA guy. I've said that before. I'll say it again. Listen, Kevin Durant stopped being one of the greatest of all time when he had to leave a team with Westbrook and James Harden because he couldn't win. Okay. I don't care what stats you throw at me. I don't care what outside information you have for me. I don't care what, like, there's nothing you could possibly tell me that would convince me that a dude who had Westbrook and Harden and could not win and instead had to leave that team and demand out, as he always does, is one of the greatest of all time. I don't buy it. I sell it. And I cannot wait for Jason the Showman Stroman to hear this podcast and come at me with whatever information he has. I can't wait. I hope it's convincing. I hope that he makes me apologize and eat my words, because I cannot see a line. I cannot see a path. I cannot even see a map quest. That's right. We're going map quest. We used to have to print out 10 pages, staple them together, and make sure you kept track of mileage to know where you were going. Okay. That's where I'm at. I don't see it. I just don't.
I mean, they are 3-4, bro. So they have technically a worse record than the Spurs.
That's tough.
So,
but how are they doing in the tournament? In the tournament that I'm told started on Friday, did not continue on Saturday, did not continue today.
I have no clue what this tournament is.
When does it continue?
Funny enough,
when does it continue, Big Z?
Next Friday. Next Friday, I believe, because it's group play.
Okay.
Funny enough, your boy, Kevin Durant, said that it felt like a playoff game to him.
Wow.
Funny enough.
Wow.
And when
but he lost.
And they lost. And I'm sitting here, I'm on my couch and like, what is the point of this? Like, I don't give a crap if the Lakers have an in-season tournament trophy. Like, I don't. Like, I care about the trophies and the banners that say NBA champion.
Right.
I don't care if they have an in-season tournament. Even a guy on the Pacers came out and said, yeah, if there was something more enticing, like an automatic playoff bid, if I won that, like that would make it more exciting. But of course, Kevin Durant, he comes out because, you know, him and the league are probably cozy in bed together. And he said, oh yeah, I felt the intensity. This was a great game. No, bro. Like they had to, it's just so where they're changing all the courts. Like they're painting them all like bright blue.
Oh, okay.
It just looks so, it's so weird. I don't understand, because the games still count for their regular season record. So I don't understand what it is. Is it to bring in the next generation of basketball fans for viewership purposes? I really don't know, because it's not grabbing me to watch the game. You know, like it's not like I'm tuning in to watch the Lakers just because I want to watch the Lakers, not because it's a in-season tournament game. It makes no sense to me. Right. So, yeah, I don't know, bro. It may just be like an older fan thing, and like the older fans just don't care about it, and like the newer ones want something different. But it's just really odd to me. Again, that I know we already talked about this when they announced it, but the payout or the award for this is not enticing to me either. I don't know why players would even want this. So it's weird, man. It's just a weird ploy by the NBA. They could have figured something else out, but
I mean, I know that I know that the NBA has an issue on their hands where they got to figure out how to get these players to play day in and day out with all the rest. I just don't think this is it. I don't think it does it. I'll be interested to see at the very least if Kawhi plays next Friday when the Clippers finally play, because in the tournament that started on Friday that did not continue on Saturday and Sunday, they don't play till next Friday, and the teams that didn't play on this Friday definitely play next Friday. But then the teams that did play this last Friday maybe playing 2 Fridays. So I'm trying to keep up, but
I don't know, bro.
It's weird. It's awkward. It is what it is. I'll tell you what, I'm not here for. What I am here for is to congratulate the Houston. Oh my God. That was disgusting.
It's done. The podcast
It's done.
is over.
It's over.
See you.
Did you see what I did there though? Because Houston told me that they were going to win the World Series.
Yeah.
Houston told me that hey, Big Z, I don't know if you heard. What happens if Houston doesn't win the division? I guess we'll never know, says Corey Seager. That's right. It was not Houston. It was the Texas Rangers who win the World Series. Shut up, Alex Bregman, which I love. I could have swore it was supposed to be Houston, though, Big Z.
I could have
sworn. Was it supposed to be Houston?
It's so funny, bro. I have some friends that are from Houston, so they're Astro fans, and they're unapologetic. They're unapologetic about the scandal and rubbing it in my face, that the Dodgers always suck in the playoffs. Anyway, dude, they hate the Rangers. They hate them with a passion.
Amazing.
And they were so tilted when the Rangers just kept hitting walk-offs in the World Series and then ended up winning the World Series. And that just makes it so much sweeter to me.
Wait, what was their reaction to Seager? Did they see the video?
Oh, I didn't talk to him about that this week.
You have to.
I should send him the.
You got to send him the video. You got to send him the video because if you don't know, that's what I was referencing. That's why I did this whole thing. Was Corey Seager? Yeah. There was a video that came out not long after the Astros won their division, where Alex Bregman was sitting there. He's like, "Oh, what? Yeah, everybody kept asking, what's going to happen if Houston doesn't win the division? I guess we'll never know." Corey Seager walked to the mic. Just got one thing to say. Everybody kept asking, what if the Rangers don't win the World Series? Guess we'll never know.
Right, bro.
And
another thing, which is great, there was an Astros beat writer. So he wrote an article the day after the Rangers clinched a playoff spot. And the Rangers, mind you, haven't made the playoffs in like 7 years or something. And so they clinched a playoff spot. They didn't clinch the division, but they clinched the playoff spot. So that night they celebrated, with the champagne. And the next day, an Astros beat writer wrote an article just pounding the Rangers, saying, "We don't do that here in Houston. We only celebrate division championships, or we only celebrate pop champagne with big momentous celebrations."
Gross.
And in my mind, I'm like, you guys didn't do that in 2017 when you made the playoffs for the first time in 10, 15 years. You guys didn't do that. That's some BS. And now it's just so funny to me that, and I texted my buddies this, the Astros going to write another article that the Rangers are celebrating, all their, their ALDS win, their ALCS win, and then their World Series win. And they're like, "Oh, shut up, bro." Blah, blah. But I'm like, dude, why are you getting on other teams, for celebrating? It's just so trash. It just makes me so happy that the Rangers beat them. I'm more happy that they beat them than they actually won. But I'm really happy for Corey Seager winning another World Series MVP, becoming just the 4th player in history to win 2 or more World Series MVPs. The Dodgers made a mistake. They're idiots. They should have let Trey Turner go and traded him. They should have let Gavin Lux go. They shouldn't have thrown the bank at Mookie. They should have thrown the bank at Corey. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
I love you, Corey Seager.
Love you, Corey Seager. Well done. We're all very proud of you, especially for dethroning, Houston. And that's all I cared about, was that they did it. Shout outs to Diamondbacks. Great run, great season. Way to care again. as a Dodgers fan, we had a player show up as a correspondent, and that was pathetic, in my opinion.
Yep.
So well done to you to make it there the right way. We were going to end the podcast right now, and I was supposed to ask Big Z, did we have fun tonight? This was so great, but I had to throw this out there. If you're not watching hockey, it is going down. The West is stacked. The East is stacked. But last year, the East was so good that it was like, oh, winner has to come out of the East. Obviously, the Knights won it, and they came out of the West. But this year, the West, like especially the Pacific, is so stacked. You look at the top teams in the division, the Golden Knights, Vancouver, and the LA Kings. All those teams in the Pacific Division.
Bro, even the Ducks, bro. The Ducks are 7-4.
Well, that's what I was going to say. And I don't want to shout out the Ducks, but I have to.
I know.
Because the Ducks, but still, they just knocked off the Knights tonight. Yeah. Or tonight, or either tonight, I believe it was tonight. They knocked off the Knights, who had yet to lose a game in regulation. Yep. The Ducks did it. So hockey is going to be it's going to be a fun season. It's going to be a great season. If you're not already watching some hockey, tune in for some hockey. I can't wait. The boys don't know. One of the things we're going to buy them for Christmas. Because, listen, they have so much stuff, right? They have so much stuff. Right. They don't need more stuff. We're going to take them to a Kings game. Nice. So it's going to be a blast.
That'll be fun.
I cannot wait. We're going to spoil them, get them big fingers.
That sounds fun.
Jersey. I'm going to wear my old school. Anybody does this podcast, like, oh, he's not a fan. He's only a fan because they won 2 Stanley Cups. Listen, I still have my Dustin Brown captain jersey.
That's right.
All right. Purple and black. Purple on the shoulders, black, like when we were the worst team in the NHL. Me and my dad sitting there in an empty Staples Center. That's what it was at the time, in an empty Staples Center.
Still is.
Losing to the Blue Jackets, who were the other worst team in the NHL at the time. Listen, I've been there. I've seen it. If you're not watching hockey, go watch some hockey. Big Z, this episode has been fun.
Go watch hockey where the players play every single game, and they get hit all the time.
No off days.
No off days for those guys. No rest management. What's it called? Load management.
Load management.
Anyway, it's been fun, bro. It's been fun as always. Love talking with you. Love talking about the NFL. I love talking about our failure of eating sushi. I'm sorry that I gave us that momentous task of eating 15 rolls each. I learned.
When you said that, I knew. I was like, oh,
we're gonna fail. We ate 20 sashimis, bro.
We ate some sashimis. Sashimis, we killed it. I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you for watching. Again, we are Brevity Sports. Give us a rating on wherever you're listening to this. Give us a rating, please. Have your loved one listen. Tell them to give us a rating.
Rate us.
We love it.
Subscribe to
us. Rate us. Subscribe to us. We're predominantly a podcast. It is what we is. It is what it is. We are what we are. We're too busy to be posting all the time. So tell your friends, tell your family, help us out. We'll end this with a very simple thank you for listening. Have a great night, great weekend. And again, please, please, please tell your friends.